basics of machine learning. What do you mean by machine learning? And then various types of learning in machine learning. So under this topic, that is types of machine learning, we will be discussing about these three techniques. You might have heard about this: supervised, unsupervised, fine, and then your next category for this is your reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning. So under these three techniques, we will discuss what these techniques are, then what type of data types they are using, what type of data they will be working on, and where are their various applications, which type of learning will be applied in which of the area. That will be the agenda for today's lecture. So let's briefly discuss once about this. I hope you all are aware of this, that there are how many domains of artificial intelligence are there. Various domains of artificial intelligence. One is your machine learning, then neural networks is there, robotics, natural language processing, fuzzy logic is there, expert systems are there. So we have already talked a brief of expert system when we were discussing about propositional logic and predicate logic. Fine. So fuzzy lecture we will be discussing in the next lecture. Robotics we are taking parallelly because this is an application area of this, and then we will be discussing about machine learning in today's lecture. So when can anyone tell me, whenever you heard about the term machine learning, what comes to your mind? What is the first word that comes to your mind when we talk about machine learning? I will take ideas from you. Then let's make a note of this. So when we talk of machine learning, a few things come to our mind. That is the learning of machine, fine, knowledge base, gaining knowledge, becoming intelligent. So you can say intelligence, automation, fine, and there can be a number of terms that come to your mind also. So it will be better if you can participate in this and give me few words related to this technology. Make a list in your notebooks or in your mind. After some time I will take these ideas from you guys. So when we talk about machine learning, according to Arthur Somel, machine learning can be defined as computers that has the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. So there is something that is not trained, that has no knowledge yet. But if we want to make it automatic working, then we need to train that machine. That is, we have to provide learning to that machine. We talk about knowledge bases, and from these knowledge bases, the machines learn something. The machines are learning. And here we say it is a branch of computer science which enables computer systems to learn and respond to the queries. That just like you can talk about any robot. So what a robot do? It work on certain queries. The input is given to that. It has certain programming that is being done, and according to that working, it will produce some output. But to perform this task, it has to be in this mode. That is the learning mode. It has learned something. So this is the study area where we can construct a number of algorithms for the learning purpose, and based on that, for future predictions are being done. That what is expected to be done. So let's have a quick look at applications of machine learning. We will not go into detail of these applications because you are already aware of all these things, and you can add a number of things in this. So medical diagnosis, stock market trading, online fraud detection, virtual personal assistance, email spam filtering, self-driving cars. This was the example that I got from you guys, also from your class also. So product recommendations are there, traffic prediction is there, speech recognition, image recognition, automatic language translation, and there can be n number of applications. Applications of machine learning are not limited to these only. There are n number of applications. You can add any number of applications over here because this is not a limited field. It has application in wide variety of areas. So here few more are mentioned like web search, computational finance, e-commerce, space exploration, robotics, information extraction, social networks, debugging. So I'm not going into this theory part. You will do at your own because this is the simple application, just like application of computer science. So let's discuss about this thing, that is working of machine learning. When we talk of working of machine learning, it basically works in 5 steps. Machine learning process consists of major 5 steps. So you can call it working of machine learning, or you can call it process of machine learning also. So when we talk about these things, the major 5 steps are being performed. So at the very first step is get data. Get data is also known as the term that we have studied in the previous lecture, that is known as knowledge acquisition. That is acquiring knowledge from various sources. There can be n number of data sources that are used to acquire the knowledge, and all this will build a knowledge base. From this we build a knowledge base, and afterwards we will the process. Once the data is acquired, the next thing is clean and prepare the data. You can call it data cleaning. So what come under the terminology of data cleaning? When we talk about data cleaning, it means what we need to perform. We have to remove noise. Remove noise. What you know by noise, understand by noise? So basically noise is unwanted data. Unwanted data that is not required. Fine. So that type of data is to be removed. That is known as noise, because it is just wasting a memory, as well as it may result in wrong type of interpretation also. So remove noise is to be removed. Some pre-processing is being done. Pre-processing of the data, like some structures are being built on, because the data on which we work is mostly unstructured data, and we have to train our machine to perform a number of tasks. So this is one of the important area, that we have to get the structures of that data, and all these are coming under the category of data cleaning, where removal of noise is being performed and certain tasks like pre-processing is being performed in this case. So here we clean the data and we prepare the data for the training purpose. Once we have cleaned the data, now we have acquired the data, we have cleaned the data, so we are we are available with the data that is wanted. Fine. Once this task is performed, at the third step, the machine learning will perform the training. So what we understand by the term training, when we talk about the term training, it means we are training a model. We are making up a model. We have a model. We will give as input knowledge to this model. From this knowledge, this model will get trained to work on this knowledge. Fine. So based on this knowledge, this model has to provide the output, and this output is certain decisions. These are the decisions that are taken from this model. So this is the work area in which we are working. So it works like this: new input, and new input is given to the model. From this model, certain output is being produced, and our main target is to train the model, because until and unless this model is trained, it will not work accordingly. Suppose let's take the example of our childhood. Fine, when you were a kid, and suppose I have this, you can say this is apple, then this may be a mango. Fine, and there are few grapes, and imagine you are just a kid, and someone asks you, what is this? What is this? You will not be able to answer, because you don't know about this. So you are just a model which is having zero knowledge at that stage. But what happens when you are learning? You are learning from your parents, you are learning from your relatives, you are learning from your teachers, from school timing. So you keep on learning. Now in this way, that kid who was not aware of all these fruits, with the learning, he or she is becoming trained. So that is known as training of the model. Now once this model is there, and suppose this model is trained, that is a kid is trained, and that kid see this picture, he will immediately recognize. If you go back into your childhood, what happened into your childhood? There was a picture of fruit in front of you. You have seen in your book which was followed by your parents or maybe your school time. But when you go somewhere else, you see a chart paper. At that time, what will happen? That chart paper apple may not look like similar to that book, but it is an apple. It has certain similarities. Some but structure is same. And from your learning, you will try to relate that. And based on that relation, you will predict that and you will declare that this is the apple. So that is the same thing a machine is being doing. A machine is untrained at the very first stage. It gets some knowledge, and that knowledge is provided by a number of sources, and then certain algorithms are there which will be processing on that data, and based on that it is providing the output. So this is the thing that we are talking over here, that is training. Fine. Once this, next is the validation. This is very important thing, validation. Let me tell you a difference between validation and verification. Once we talk about two terms, let's not get confused about these two things, validation and verification. I hope you have studied in software engineering the difference between validation and verification. So now, if not done, let's get a quick view of this. When we talk about validation, it means if we are providing, if we have written a program, it is any program or any code, and this is error free. This is error free code. Means this is compiled successfully. Not combined, sorry, it is compiled. This is compiled successfully. You have run it, and you can say you have executed it. At the end, you got certain output. It means your program didn't have any error. It is error free, so it will obviously provide some output. So we call this program is valid. Fine, this is valid without any error, running successfully. And when we talk about the verification, then it means suppose I told you to write a program that works for addition of floating point numbers. Fine. Now suppose you are doing this thing and your program is error free. It is giving me the output, but the main problem is it is working on integer a and b. It is not working on the floating point values. So I will say this program is valid, but this is at the verification level it will fail, because as an end user my requirement was to add the floating point numbers. So at the verification phase, a stage will fail. Now you went to market, you purchased a mobile phone. After some time, you thought these are not my requirements, but mobile was working correctly, so it was valid. But it was not working. Your requirements are not met. Requirements not met, then it is not verified. So verification basically deals with the requirements. Same thing is applied in the software development life cycle also. So same thing is happening over here. Now, once we have got the data, acquired the data, cleaned and prepared the data, we have trained the machine, and we have tested that. Next thing is we will check whether this model is working correctly. If the model is working correctly, it means we declare it as a valid model. After that, next we have done testing. Testing phase will check for verification and validation testing and all type of testing to ensure the working of the model. I will be a bit faster today because we have to wind up with these terms before your MSPs. Fine, so I will be a bit faster. So meantime, if you get anywhere you got stuck, then you can tell me to repeat that topic. But these terms are easy to understand, nothing to worry about. So next we have key elements of machine learning. So basically there are three major elements: representation, evaluation, and optimization. When we talk about these three elements, when we talk about representation, it means how we are representing the knowledge. We have already discussed about knowledge representation. So let's not waste any more time on knowledge representation. There can be multiple models. We have discussed about graphical models. We have discussed about rule-based representation. There were a number of things, and similarly neural networks, code vector machines, and number of models are available that are used for knowledge representation. Then we have evaluation, and it is the way to evaluate the candidate program based on certain hypotheses. And examples include accuracy of something, prediction, making predictions, recalling, scared error, likelihood, same type of things happening, associations. Then probability, cost, margin, and a number of things. Optimization is getting the best result. if we are having n number of feasible solution, one will be the best one, optimized one. So that is known as the optimization. That is the way candidate programs are generated, known as search process. Let's move on to the main topic for today, that is machine learning types of learning. So here you can see these are the major three types. One is your supervised learning, and then we have unsupervised learning, and then we have reinforcement learning. So when we talk about supervised learning, we will talk in detail about this thing. So this supervised learning is a type of learning, just like you are doing certain projects and you have been assigned some supervisors. Fine, that supervisor, you can take the guidance from the supervisor. Someone is training you, someone is giving guidance time to time to complete your task. That is supervised learning, in which we have data. The data is labeled in case of supervised learning. And then we have major two techniques can be used. One is your classification, another one is your regression technique. So if you want to detect frauds, if you want to do classification of images, customer retention, how many customers are retained by a particular company, you want to perform certain diagnosis, then you will go with the technique of classification. Then the next technique of supervised learning is the regression technique. And in case of regression, suppose you want population growth prediction, you want to estimate life expectancy, you want to do market forecasting, weather forecasting, advertising popularity prediction. If you want to do any type of these things, then you will go with the supervised learning. And but next about unsupervised learning, it is working at home. You are doing at your own. You are not getting guidance from anyone. You are not being invigilated by someone. That is unsupervised learning. And the major two techniques of unsupervised learning are clustering and the dimensionality reduction. So when we talk about unsupervised learning under clustering, we can use it for customer segmentation. If you want to do target some marketing for promotion purpose, then you can use clustering. If you want to recommend something about someone about something, then you can go with the clustering technique. And suppose you are working on big data visualization, then that is the category of dimensionality reduction, because we are having huge amount of data, and before performing analysis on that data, we have to reduce the size of that data frame. In that case, that is known as dimensionality reduction. Feature elicitation, you want to reduce elect some feature, identify certain features of something, then that is known as dimensionality reduction application. Structures discovery, meaningful compression, a number of things are done with the help of this unsupervised learning. Then we have reinforcement learning, and if you want to develop game AI, then that is reinforcement learning. Skill acquisition, you want to acquire skill, learning task, robot navigation, real-time decisions, they go under the category of reinforcement learning. Now let me take one example over here. You are not a swimmer, means you don't know how to swim. What will happen in that case? You don't know swimming, and suddenly someone picks you and throw into in a swimming pool. What will happen in that case? You may feel that if I don't try to swim, I will obviously sink into that. I don't want to die, so I have to swim. I have to come out of that swimming pool by somehow. So what will you do? You will keep on trying. You will not say, I will sit like idle that let me die. You are not going to die in that case. You will keep on trying. In that case, no one is there to guide you. No pre-knowledge is being provided to you. You are blank. You don't know anything, but you will try at your own. Suppose you are trying to learn swimming. You have two chances. Either you will learn or you will die. You will obviously do on one thing will surely happen. If you will not able to learn, not swim, then you will die. If you can swim, then you can learn. Now suppose you have learned, you will get certain rewards. You will feel happy. It is a reward itself that you are feeling happy that you have learned to swim. In this case, nobody guided you how to swim, but you have learned because you have to do that. And in the case when you have to do something without any guidance and it's mandatory for you to do that thing, then that is known as reinforcement learning. I hope now it's clear to you what do you mean by reinforcement learning. So that's why we are gaming activities. Gaming AI is reinforcement learning. Now you are acquiring skill. Let's take the same example. You didn't know swimming, but now you are able to swim. It means you are acquiring certain skills. You are learning a number of tasks. If robot navigation is there, it is again this type of reinforcement learning, and real-time decisions are generally based on reinforcement learning only. Fine. I hope these things are clear. Let's jump into the detail of these things. Have a look what is happening in this case. This is a funny image in which this can be considered as a teacher. Let me call this the first pencil as my teacher, and these are the students. Now what is happening in this case? The teacher is teaching all these pencils. Fine. The teacher pencil is teaching all the pencils. So this is a supervised learning. He is there to guide you. He is guiding all the students. Let just we will do it likewise. Fine. So in this case, this is known as supervised learning, in which someone is guided to do something. So supervised learning is also known as supervised machine learning. It is a subcategory of machine learning and artificial intelligence. It is defined by its labeled data set. So what is happening in this case? Let me tell you a few important things about supervised learning. So we are talking about supervised learning. Here we talk about training data. We are having training data. We have both inputs and outputs available with us. We have to work with classification in this case. And in this, most of the time we use name-based algorithm. We use classification and name-based algorithms in this case. Now, this is the very simple one. Someone is guided and you are working based on that guidance. It means in this case, the data will be labeled. The data that we will use will be labeled. Now, suppose this is a collection. Here it will be written, these are apples. And here it will be written, these are mangoes. Fine. And here it will be written, these are grapes. So it means this is my data and this data is labeled in this case. Now, based on this, I am having a machine. This machine will be trained. This machine will learn if something looks like this and it is red in color or yellow in color, green in color, then obviously this is an apple. And in this case, what is the machine say? If it is yellow in color and its shape is like this, it has learned then it is a mango because the data has been labeled. And similarly for the grapes category. So machine is learning from the labeled data. And after this, machine will provide the output. Now suppose as an input to this machine, I gave this image. Now what this machine will do? This machine will go back to its knowledge base. It will relate this with this one. Okay, this is similar to resembles to this picture, and this picture was named as mango. So the output will be provided as mangoes. This is just the example like we have discussed that in the childhood we have learned this is a mango, this is a apple. How we have learned that? With certain guidance. Our parents guided us, our teachers guided us. That's why we are able to learn these things. But we were supervised in that case. So being kids, we are not able to learn anything. Fine, without supervision. So that is a supervised learning. So let's go back to a PPT. Let's not go into these theoretical parts. I have already explained all these parts, so I'm not reading these theory words. You will read it at your own. I have explained all these points. Now let's have a look at this. What is happening? We have cleaned the data. We have data sets, separated the data, training of data, test data is there. We have trained the model. Then we have delivered a source model from that. Fine. So then we will evaluate the model, that is the testing. Let's have a quick look at this again. See, data is clean, data set is provided, data is trained, so it is separated, test data is there, trained the model, and then score the model and then evaluate the model. So this is supervised learning. The main thing is data in this case is having certain labels. Without labeling, the model is not trained in this case. Next, we have a few issues with the supervised learning. In this case, data cleaning is one of the major issue. In data cleaning, noise and missing values are handled. Feature selection is there. Abundant and irrelevant attributes are removed while the selection is done. We have to do all these things. Data is to be transformed. We have to normalize and generalize the data, and that data is to be transformed. Classification methods that are available with supervised learning are decision trees, Bayesian classification, rule-based classification, classification by back proposition, and associative classification in this case. So let's have a look at one more example of this. Now suppose this is a coin and it says its weight is 3 grams. Fine. And this is my computer. So in this case, what I have labeled this coin as 3 grams. Now this is being input to this, and output will be suppose 1 rupee. How it is doing so? Because to an input model, it has been trained if any coin is of 3 grams, then it will be 1 rupee. Now suppose there are few 3 gram coins, there are 2 gram coins, there are 1 gram coins. So let us call if it is 3 gram coin, then it is 1 rupee. If it is 2 gram, let's say it is 5 rupee. And if it is 1 gram, let's say it is 5 paisa only. Fine. So this is label data which is being input to the model, and when this model is trained, we will ask the model as an input, I am inputting a 3 gram coin. So based on that, this model will interpret that when I was having a 3 gram coin, it was a 1 rupee coin. So it will declare the output as 1 rupee coin in this case. So next, let's switch to unsupervised learning. So you can see unsupervised learning, have a look at this image, what is happening in this case. So this kid is sitting, nobody is there to guide him, to supervise him. So what he or she has to do, but she has a number of things available with us. So this can be trained by these things. So in this case, you can go either with the structures, find shapes. Based on these relations, a model is trained and model will provide the output. So here we say when learning can be used to draw inferences from data set, obtaining input, it is called an unsupervised learning. But remember, in unsupervised learning, the data is unlabeled. The data is not labeled in this case. So to do this thing, it has to perform the task of clustering. Clustering means making groups of something, making the grouping of similar types of things. So data on the basis of similarities according to the characteristics found in the data. So the class labels on the data training is not known in this case. No predefined class is there. The problem of unsupervised learning involves learning patterns from the inputs, and specific output is to be supplied. So in this case, the technique used is the clustering technique. So let's have a quick review of this. In unsupervised learning, we have only inputs, we don't have any output. Predefined output, no predefined output. Fine. And it uses clustering. Another thing it uses is k-means algorithm. Fine. It uses k-means algorithm. Now let me tell you how it is working unsupervised learning. In this case, suppose this is a table. It consists of names of something and certain data is there, and it is provided as input to this computer. So based on this, it will work like this on the x-axis and y-axis. It has identified a few similar structures over here. Another is like this, triangles, and here may be some star, this type. So it will form these 3 clusters. Now how these clusters are formed? These clusters are formed based on their shapes and structures. So but the data is not labeled. So in this case, the machine will be able to tell that if I supply this thing as input, it will go into this cluster. It is similar to this. Fine. So this machine will not declare this is apple, this is mango. It will declare it is something like this, or it is something like this only. So it is based on certain similarity type of this. It is forming clustering in this case. So let's have a look at this. What is happening in this case? Try to understand. Yes, exactly. So what happened in this case? Here you can see mixed data is being supplied, that is known as raw data. It is going to the algorithm. Algorithm is model. And what is happening in this case? In this case, here you can see different clusters are formed. See, based on this thing, colors and shapes, different clusters are being formed. So this is your unsupervised learning. Fine. So this is again same thing. Raw data is there, algorithms are there, and output is there. Then clustering methods we have partitioning, hierarchical, density based, grid based, and model based. Last but not least, in this category we are having reinforcement learning. When we talk about reinforcement learning, it is something like this. So here we are having an agent and we environment, and the agent will take some actions, and it will result in state change. State change will happen and reward will be given. So this is the same thing that I have given you the example as a swimmer. You don't know how to swim. So what will you do? But you are in a situation in which you have to swim. So in that case, you are an agent, knowledge agent. What will you do? You will try to learn, try to swim. If you are able to swim in that particular environment, you are able to survive, you will get the reward, and the reward in that case will be your life. Fine. But if there is not learning, you will be punished, just like you will die. Fine. You will die in that case. So death is punishment. So rather than punishing, you will keep on trying again and again until and unless you learn something. And this is the best example for your reinforcement learning, in which you will get either the rewards or you will get the penalty. And in this we use Q learning. So here we say it is this is same thing happening over here. This is AI machine. This is the environment in which this has to work. So action and then state and reward. This you can take any example from any game. Suppose you are playing this type of game in which you can call it Bhool Bhulaiya game or you maze, whatever this game is. Like it is present. You will enter this path. You will try to go this. If this is stuck, you will come back and you will try the alternative path and so on. So in case of such type of games, if you want to develop these type of artificial intelligence games, then you are doing reinforcement learning in these cases. So it is in the action or process of establishing a pattern or behavior. So reinforcement learning is the ability of the software agent to learn and get reinforced by acting in that given environment and learning from the rewards. So I hope all of you have seen the PK movie, what was happening in that case. So earlier when Amir Khan reached on Earth, what happened in that case, there was the scene in which he was trying to buy something with that 50 rupee note. So that what was happening in that case, he offered a person a 50 rupee note. In return, he got some bananas. I don't exactly remember the scene, but it was something like that only. So after that, he gave another 50 rupee note. He again got some bananas for that as a reward. So in that case, he was trying because he was not aware of anything. He was just trying. What can he do? So he was getting bananas. So he thought whenever he is doing something, he is paying, offering something in return. He is getting some award. So after that, he went to the market. Then wherever he saw the picture of Mahatma Gandhi, he removed that picture. He removed all the posters and came back to the person from which he has got bananas. So he offered that all the Mahatma Gandhi pictures to that guy, the banana seller. But in that case, he didn't get any banana. Then he realized, he learned that Mahatma Gandhi picture is not valuable everywhere. It is valuable only on a particular type of thing that was a currency. And but if it is posted or if it is present on certain poster, it is useless. So that is the same thing in which reinforcement learning is there. You are not aware of something, you are keep on trying something. If you are able to do that, you get reward. Otherwise, you will do something else. So I think this can be one of the example for your reinforcement learning, but don't give this as an example in your examination, that PK movie. This was just for teaching you guys. So let's move forward. So here, have a look at this reinforcement learning. This is we are inputting the raw data into the environment. So rewards are there, certain state change is there. If there is best action, you will get the reward. State change, you have to state change the states. You will select the algorithm. This will keep on revolving in a cycle, and at the end, you will get certain output. Fine. And after this, I have a query for you guys. Meantime, you will think I will take your query later on. You have to tell me any one thing from that PK movie only which is related to your unsupervised learning. In that case, you have to give the example from the PK movie that will be the example for unsupervised learning. I have given you the example for reinforcement learning. You will give the same type of example for unsupervised learning from the PK movie. Fine. Let me tell you a few more differences beyond this PPT. So when we talk about supervised learning, let's do something for this supervised learning. Then we have, let me categorize it into few parts. Then I have unsupervised learning, and now I have reinforcement learning. Fine, I have categorized into three. Now when we talk about, firstly, when we talk about the definition. So I can call supervised learning is a method in which we train the machine using the labeled data. And when we talk about the definition of unsupervised learning, it is in unsupervised learning, the machine is trained on the labeled data without any guidance. So it means certain guidance is there, guide is there, no guide is there. Fine. And here I can say in reinforcement learning, agent will interact with the real term environment. And now these days, if I have to talk about artificial intelligence in today's scenario, then I will be working on reinforcement learning, where nothing is being guided. We have to work at our own. So this is the environment in which if someone is able to survive, you will definitely get reward. Otherwise, you have to think about all the small type of jobs in which you can work. Fine. So this is about the definition. Now let's talk about the category statement for this. So here in supervised learning, I will use the technique of regression and classification. Regression and classification. And then if we talk about unsupervised learning, the problem type is of your association and then clustering. And when we talk about reinforcement learning, here we say any gaming type of problem is there. Fine. So when we talk about association and clustering, so association, you can take the best example. If you are going to market and you are going to buy bread, then obviously either you will buy butter with that bread or you will buy jam with that bread. Fine. So that is the association. One thing related to the another thing. Clustering is similar type of behavior. So in which case this is, you can say, AdWords are here. AdWords are here, like Google AdWords are there. A particular customer is targeted based on its habits. If someone has a habit of doing something, based on that you will be shown only that type of advertisement. So that Google AdWords are based on your unsupervised learning technique, that is the clustering. It is unsupervised, it is not supervised, because the supervised learning is very limited in applications. You can't do a number of things with unsupervised learning. But unsupervised learning you are using in Google AdWords and all other advertisement type, and clustering application. And association, I have already told you, buying habits, relations of something. And after this, when we talk about types of data, that is types of data, then in this case data is labeled, data is not labeled, and in this case no predefined data. No predefined data. Now in reinforcement learning, we don't have any data. We are totally blank in this case. Fine. So next, when we talk about supervised learning guidance, some external guidance is being provided. Here we are having no supervision. and here again we are having no supervision. Next, when we talk about aim of supervised learning is to do forecasting. If you want to do forecasting of something, forecasting of outcomes, go with supervised learning. And if you want to discover underlying patterns, then go for unsupervised learning. And if you want to learn series of actions, then go for reinforcement learning. So if you want to do supervised forecasting, then go for supervised learning. If you want to discover underlying patterns, go for unsupervised learning. If you want to do certain series of actions, go for reinforcement learning. And approaches that are being used in this case are basically labeled known input, then certain training model is there, then known output. And in unsupervised learning, you will understand the patterns and discover the output, and based on that you will deliver the output. And in this case you will follow the trail, reward and error method in this case. After this we have feedback on the output. When we talk about supervised learning, we have direct feedback. In unsupervised learning, we have no feedback for the output. Fine. And in this case, in the reinforcement learning, we have reward system is there as an feedback method. So in supervised learning, linear regression, logistic regression, your support vector machines are there, k nearest neighbor algorithm is there, and random forest algorithm is there. When we talk about unsupervised learning, we have k-means algorithm, we have a priori algorithm, and we have c-means algorithm. And in unsupervised, reinforcement learning, we have q-learning and we have SASA available with us. And last but not least, when we talk about the application areas, so supervised learning will be used for risk evaluation and forecasting the sales. If you want to evaluate the risk like fraud detection, then you will go for supervised learning. If you want to do the forecasting of the sales, you will go for supervised learning. And unsupervised learning is used for recommending something, that is performing recommendations. And if you want to detect anomaly in something, that is problems with something, anomaly detection can be done with unsupervised learning. And when we talk about reinforcement learning, here we can say the best example is self-driving cars or gaming. So self-driving cars and gaming are examples of your reinforcement learning. So anybody having any doubt till this point, please let me know. Yes, and if there is no doubt, then you can write in the chat box about your queries. Yes, so Krishna has answered that when Amir Khan put stickers of God on his face, he knows the output. Yes, he knows the output, and but I am asking, we are talking about unsupervised learning. In case of unsupervised learning, the person is not knowing of something. Person has certain relations, like let me give you the example. So when Amir Khan reached Earth, what happened in that case on the planet Earth? He saw that there are something like men are wearing this type of clothes, women are wearing this type of clothes, like they can't wear same type of clothes. Okay, Krishna, I thank you for giving supervised example. I asked for unsupervised also. So let me give you unsupervised example. So when Amir Khan was looking, earlier he was saying why people are like this, their skin is different, fine, so they have difference in colors, and they have difference in then he, after watching a few things, he identified that women wear this type of clothes, men wear this type of clothes, and but actually he was not knowing that these clothes are meant for men because there was no label on the data. But he was able to identify these type of shirts men wear, and this type of shirts women wear. Likewise, so this can be another example of your unsupervised learning, and a number of other examples are also available for unsupervised learning. It's up to you how much you want to learn. I have tried to give maximum examples as I can, and I have tried to give real life examples as much I can. Yes, money also. Yes, money is under reinforcement learning. Krishna, I have given that money example in reinforcement learning. Yes, unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning is learning something, but money example suits best for uh, reinforcement learning, because in reinforcement learning we talk about rewards. In return, you are getting something. So when he paid a 50 rupee note on which Gandhi's photo was there, so he was getting some apple, some bananas to eat. But when he offered the same picture on a poster, he didn't get anything. So in that case, he was untrained about the data, but he was getting some reward, and that banana was a reward in that case. So that you can consider as unsupervised, that you can consider in your reinforcement learning. And second example, in reinforcement learning, you can take, you are new to swimming, you don't know how to swim, but you have to swim, so that's the way. Fine, you will get reward, life as a reward. So any example you can take also. And unsupervised learning from the PK movie, you can take the example of resembling clothes and men and women difference likewise. And supervised learning is the very easiest example in which data is labeled. This is the simplest one, you are already telling the machine. Fine. So if you have any doubt, then you can ask your doubts.